Stein, as I said, in 2012, Yamana Gold built this beautiful complex. To replace it today is at least 500 million, and we're fully permitted. Everything's ready to go. So the market is incredible in Brazil right now. Probably the best place in the world to operate a gold mine, I think. With the weak currency, incredible talent and staff that we have here, it's just an amazing place to operate because it's just so much potential. We have 4 million ounces of gold. It's just a very rich region, beautiful state of Goiás. We just want to start small, bring it back, start producing gold, and eventually slowly build it up to 100,000 ounces over 2 years. Hub and spoke's the key word, but at these prices, every mine that we have is incredibly profitable. We're talking margins of 60 to 70%. We're pricing this at less than 10 cents replacement value, so anyone who gets involved will get involved at a fantastic level. So if you'd like to learn more about Pilar Gold, go on to pilargold.com. You'll find Edward Baum. Just ask for Ed, and we'd love to hear from you.
All right, today we're going to chat with the whole team at Pilar Gold at the mine site right now. Jeremy, first a word to you. Where are we at and how are things going over there?
Hi Stein, thank you very much for the opportunity. I'm invited my general manager, Jadir, Julimar, who runs our mill, Richard Crew, our country manager, and Steve. We're fantastic. We're in Goiás, in the beautiful state of Goiás in Brazil, and we're at Pilar Gold.
And perhaps, Jeremy, you can give a quick introduction for the viewers at home. What are we really talking about when we're talking about Pilar Gold?
What you're looking at, Stein, is the work of Yamana Gold. They built this beautiful mill, 4,500 ton a day mill. In 2012, they spent $250 million building it, and we have 3 underground mines here: Pilar Mine, Maria Lazara, and also Kayama. But also 120 miles south, we have the famous Satao high-grade deposit and the Cascavel mine and mill. So it's a big complex that we think we can get to 100,000 ounces a year.
That's definitely a big complex, and I suppose you're going to be running it at a hub and spoke model. Jadir's, of course, the general manager. You introduced him already. Perhaps you can take us along how we're really thinking about restarting this asset to become that 100,000 ounce producer and beyond.
Yes, we're taking it step by step. We're currently just finishing the dewatering of the Pilar mine. Jadir here has been overseeing that dewatering process, and now we're upgrading the Sandvik fleet to begin mining hopefully in the next 2 months, and that will allow us to start producing gold again. To give you an idea, in the old days at Pilar, we used to ship gold, say 2,000 ounce shipment. We would receive about 16 million reals per 2,000 ounces. Today, 1,000 ounces will receive 19 million reals. Stein, the leverage now with the price of gold in Brazil at $19,000 an ounce is just incredible for Pilar. I remember when Richard first started Cascavel, which is part of Pilar, you were getting what? How much were you getting per ounce?
Very, very little. Probably we're looking somewhere around the
5,000 reals an ounce.
5,000 reals an ounce.
Now it's 19,000. So the leverage for Pilar Gold shareholders is significant as we resume production.
And you started highlighting something interesting there, Jeremy, of course, with the background of your team and Richard locally here already. Perhaps you can take us through what is really the history behind this asset, well, group of assets, I should say, to get to this point.
Yeah, great question. So Stein, as I said, in 2012, Yamana Gold built this beautiful complex. You can see in the background this wonderful mill. To build that mill today would be at least 200 million US. They operated for 3 years. They sold it to Brio Gold, who then sold it to Leah Gold, and Leah Gold then merged it with Equinox Gold, and we acquired it from Equinox in April 2021, which was producing approximately 4,000 ounces a month. So the infrastructure, Stein, is incredible. You have 3 underground mines. We just were underground this morning with Jadir, and Julimar is our mill operator. His wife also runs the laboratory. And the mill, as you can see in the background, it's in excellent working condition. In fact, we think we have significant amount of gold in the cyanide tanks when we will recover once we start milling the underground feed.
Great overview there, Jeremy. And of course, we're talking about a hub and spoke model here with multiple mines where you can get gold from. There's a Satao mine, a high-grade mine that could become online in the future again. You have mines near Pilar. Perhaps you can give a quick overview, a rundown of how that's currently looking like and how you're planning to restart all these interesting assets that you have very closely located to the Pilar mine site.
So the first mine will be Pilar, the underground mine. We also have the very exciting Tres Barracas open pit project that sits only a mile that direction, 400,000 ounces open pittable. We're waiting for that to be complete, the permitting, which will take 8 months, but that will be a significant source of feed. We have the Maria Lazara mine, 3 miles down the road in that direction. That's a nice grading mine, but we're not planning to open that this year. We have the Kiama mine, which is super high grade. That's 40-mile truck, and that hasn't been mined since 2016, but fully developed by Yamana, like excellent work in. Now, obviously, the big exciting project for us is Satao. That's how far is Satao from here?
178 kilometers.
178 kilometers, which sounds a long way, but Satao was the highest grading gold mine in the world. It used to average 29 grams open pit when the company called Troy Resources in Australia became famous with Satao. And we're planning to resume drilling. We started drilling, when did we start drilling? 3 years ago?
3 years ago, yeah.
And then we ran out of money. We stopped drilling, but we want to start again later this year when we're producing gold. But we think that's a 15 gram a ton underground mine. And we have Cascavel, which we last operated 5 years ago. Excellent working condition. We hope to resume production later this year also. So hub and spoke's the key word. But at these prices, every mine that we have is incredibly profitable. We're talking margins of 60 to 70% at today's price. And Jadir here has enormous experience, don't you, mate? Enormous experience operating these mines. Julimar, how long has Julimar been on site?
12 years.
12 years. So we have Julimar operating here for 12 years. We have a wealth of experience in the town of Itapasi. We're now hiring again. We want to bring staff back. We want to bring them home to Itapasi. And we've got so much talent in the district. In fact, if you go 40 miles that direction, Anglo Gold's famous Crishas mine, which is a beautiful mine, that's a kilometre deep now. So it's exactly the same structure as our Pilar mine here, but we're only 300 metres deep. So it's a very young complex here. And I think, Richard, it's fair to say it's never had the chance because of low gold prices to show its true potential.
Perhaps we can go over everyone that's assembled here, really what their role is in this company, what their background is, all those good stories.
Well, I'm Richard Crew. I'm a country manager and legally responsible person here in Brazil for the group. Mining engineer's background and 36 years now in the industry. I've been living in Brazil, British, and I've been living in Brazil for about 25 years.
Speaks Portuguese like a local. Julimar's been with us 12 years. His wife works with us in the laboratory. Jadir, how long has Jadir experience?
What's his experience was there? He's got 15 years of experience.
Yeah, fantastic general manager who's really making a key difference. And as you and Steve has joined the team, he's from England. But we have fantastic management sitting up there right now, which are not part of the video. Dr. Carlos, the whole team here are amazing. And we just want to bring this prosperity back to the district again. We want to restart as soon as possible and take advantage of these crazily high. And I don't think they're crazy, Stein. As you and I know, we've talked about this before. We think the gold price will hit $4,500 by the end of this year, which in local currency here in Brazil would be over 25,000 reals an ounce. And remember, Richard said when we first started in Brazil 6 years ago, we'll get in 5,000 on a good day. So the market is incredible in Brazil right now. Probably the best place in the world to operate a gold mine, I think, with the weak currency, incredible talent and staff that we have here. It's just an amazing place to operate, and we just love being in Brazil.
Jens, thanks for that overview there. Really appreciate that. And perhaps we can also quickly touch base on, of course, this mine was operational in the past. Me and Lars, who are running this channel, have been there as well when it was running. Of course, it went out of production at some point, and now you're trying to restart it. Perhaps we can go over what the reasons were behind that and what really that trajectory and story looks like.
So basically, we had a seismic event, Stein. It meant that to be extra careful, we had to build a new access point to the high-grade zone. That took several months, and we just ran out of working capital. And we decided to close temporarily, restructure the business, put it into JR, and that allowed us to give us time to now come back and restart again. So, you know, it's a risky business, mining. You have to understand that. But the geology, the mining, everything's the same. Nothing's really changed, except the gold price has doubled since we temporarily suspended operations in April last year.
After the restart here, we're open at depth, open in strike. We've got a long way to go. Phenomenal potential here. This will be a central hub for the other mines that we have. So we won't have other processing facilities to purchase or to build. Everything will be transported to here. So this is the way forward.
100%, and the geology around this mine site, 4 million ounces in reserves, I believe, or resources at least. Very, very interesting with that asset you have here, definitely. Richard, perhaps we can touch base on the restart strategy. Jeremy started hinting at it that he wanted you to explain that, so perhaps you can take us along how that's going to look like from your perspective.
Yes, certainly, Stein. As Jeremy has already said, Jadir has already started the pumping for underground. Obviously, we're still in the wet season now, and we get a lot of seepage and rainwater runoff. But during this time where we've been temporarily closed, we've accumulated a lot of water. So that is being pumped now. That's the initial phase. Once that is pumped, then we will go into the upper levels and start recovering the ore from there. It's slightly higher grade, but we are programming everything meticulously so we can minimize our costs. New suppliers, few new staff, but a lot of the old staff still want to come back. So yeah, things are looking extremely hopeful and promising. And the other thing, so here's now one of the things that's extremely critical in Brazil are tailings dams and tailings pipelines. As you're aware, we have replaced the 100% of the tailings pipeline at a vast cost.
I think it's also fair to say we've just lifted the tailings dam. It's a world-class tailings dam. I'll send you a video of that. Stein, you can show everyone. Stein, I just want to show you Pilar Gold's incredible tailings dam. And to give you an idea, to build a tailings dam like this in Brazil today from scratch would be at least 50 million US. Have a look down here, just all the work that's gone into building the wall here for the tailings. And we just lifted this 2 years ago for $8 million capex. It's brand new. I'll show you over this side. You can get an idea of just how big it is. I think it must be at least 100 to 150 acres. Just show you, look at, this is fully lined. Take a look at this. Fully lined from here, a kilometre over to the other side. And that protects the environment. But can you imagine the amount of work that goes into a new tailings dam like that? And Pilar Gold, we've got at least 3 years before we need to do any more work and do another lift. And we're very, very proud of our high environmental standards here at Pilar Gold. But I just wanted to show you, maybe show across, scan that there, just see that all the way across. And in 4 months' time, because we're now going into the dry season, in 4 months' time, all that water, most of that will dry off. So it will drop about two meters. So we're just finishing the rainy season, and you can see how much spare capacity we have here for the next 3 to 4 years of production. We replaced all the pipelines, 15 kilometers 3 years ago. So everything's in immaculate working condition. And as you know, we just completed a $100 million funding with Tucano Gold in the beautiful state of Amapá in northern Brazil. That's a bigger mine, but also, we now are turning our attention to making sure that Pilar becomes a phenomenal success. And it's part of the reason why I've stepped down from Liver Gold. We handed that over to the Metals Group. We want to focus all of our attention on Pilar Gold and also, as you know, our beautiful new mine that we're acquiring, Gold Road in Arizona. So we're super busy, but boy, what a time to be turning on these gold mines in this incredible market.
Yeah, thanks for that overview, gentlemen. Definitely an exciting time for a gold mine restart story with gold prices skyrocketing and touching new highs almost daily. Perhaps we can also quickly touch base on the financials of this restart. Of course, you have been raising capital. You have raised a bit already. Perhaps you can take us along how that's currently looking like. What is really the requirement to get this mine back into operations?
It's looking really good. To restart, it's you can start for 5 million Canadian. But if you really want to do it properly and start to replace a lot of the old Sandvik fleet, it's a sort of a 15 million Canadian. But we're not going to just wait for that. We want to start small, step by step, because everyone's your best friend when you start producing doré again. And once we do that first shipment, as we said, 1,000-ounce shipment will give us 19 million reals, which is crazy, right? At these markets, when in the old days you'd need 2,000 ounces at least to get the same price. So we're just taking it step by step. We're not sort of thinking we need to go and raise huge money. We just want to get this producing, get this slowly build the staff back. In the old days we had 600 staff, and perhaps, we won't go back to that same level going forward, but we just want to keep costs. And Jadir is our number one cost cutter and keep things super tight, knows how to run a business on a super tight, budget. But to really give it credit now, I think as we produce gold and generate significant cash flow, we can massively upgrade our Sandvik fleet. And I want to thank Sandvik, Victor and his team in Bello for being great supporters of Pilar. And they're our big focus, is to get that Sandvik fleet repaired and producing again. We just bought 8 new Volvo trucks, brand new. The mill's in great condition. Everything's in mint condition. I think all we need to order from the mill is cyanide. Maybe ask Julimar.
Tem que pedir para a planta esse CNIT? Ou está faltando?
No, mas só CNIT não.
And some other chemicals.
Yeah, so we just need to order some cyanide, some metabisulfate, simple chemical orders. We have a lot in stock. A lot of the warehouses are full. Because remember, when we turned it off unexpectedly in April last year, we had a lot of stocks already here. We've obviously just lifted the tailings dam. So there's no major capex work apart from upgrading our Sandvik fleet. And like I said, I just want to thank Victor and the team at the Sandvik Bello office for their amazing support.
All right, great, gentlemen. Thanks for that overview as well. Then touching base on, of course, raising that capital. 2 questions there. Of course, you've done it in the past with Tucano Gold, a $100 million Canadian raise to get that mine back into production again. Of course, Pilar Gold already has quite a bit of institutions backing this story. Is that an angle you can take? And on the other hand, you are raising capital to the public. Perhaps you can explain how people can reach out, potentially participate.
Yes, now as you know, Tucano, we were looking for 20 million and we secured 100 million. Now we're not going out for those big tickets. We do have a large investor on site with us today doing their due diligence. But we also know we've built this business for our 4 companies through the amazing support of our 700 plus retail sophisticated mum and dad shareholders. So if you'd like to learn more about Pilar Gold, go on to pilargold.com. You'll find Edward Baum. Just ask for Ed. We also have Max here and Freddie on site this week. They're getting to know this beautiful asset and would love to hear from you. We're pricing this at just 10 cents, less than 10 cents replacement value. So anyone who gets involved will get involved at a fantastic level. BlackRock are our largest shareholder. They've been amazing supporters over the last couple of years. They're also our largest shareholder of Liver Gold. But in Tucano, we brought on one of the biggest Brazilian private equity groups who are now backing us at Tucano. But with Pilar, we're not looking for huge money. We just want to start small, bring it back, start producing gold, and eventually slowly build it up to 100,000 ounces over 2 years.
Great. And of course, then last main topic I would like to highlight is, of course, profitability. You have some track record to look at cost-wise. Of course, you have the current gold price that's hitting all-time highs in the local currency. Perhaps you can take us along quickly. What type of profitability could we be looking at with this asset if it were to produce in today?
Sure. I mean, when the market was good back in 21, when it was 10,000 reals an ounce, we're making about 2.5 million US a month free cash flow. So the price is now 19,000. Our cost structure has been dramatically slimmed down. And I think this is a business that can make 4 to 6 million a month as we slowly, now that's of course once we get to our initial capacity of 4,000 ounces a month. So at the moment, we won't get there just yet. We're aiming to do 1,000 ounces a month, 2,000 ounces a month, get more fleet, more staff, slowly build it to 4,000. And then with that hub and spoke strategy, with Maria Lazara, with Trey Baracus, with Kayamar, with Cascavel, with Satal, we can get to 100,000 because it's just so much potential. We have 4 million ounces of gold, 4 million ounces of gold here. And we could drill that to 8 million if we bothered. It's just a very rich region, the beautiful state of Goiás.
Thanks for that overview, Jeremy, as well. And perhaps we can also touch base. This is being valued at 1/10 replacement value. What really is that valuation looking like? We now know what the profitability is like, but what does that valuation currently look like?
It's currently a 60 million Canadian valuation before this raise, Stein. And as I said, to build this today would be, goodness, 500 US. So that, yeah, it's about a 10 cent in the dollar valuation. But the beauty is, the deer here can have this produced in 2 months. It's not like a lot of mines are planning to be built. Lots of studies take 3 or 4 years to produce. We are here. We're ready. We're just looking for that final bit of working capital to turn it back on. Everything's in great shape.
And this might be a bit early to talk about, gentlemen. Perhaps we can talk about what the vision is. Is it to go public? Is it potentially dividends in the future? Really, how would you think about those shareholder returns?
Pilar Gold should have gone public 3 years ago, and we're often criticized for not going public. But we had our operational issues. Things took longer than we thought. And actually, it was good that we stayed private and allowed us time to recover, allowed us time to build up and become strong again. So we do really want to list Pilar. We actually get in daily calls from shells in Australia and Canada. Would you consider listing Pilar Gold on our shell, or an option? But we want to get it producing first. Once you're producing, then people start to believe you again, and you get a much, much higher valuation. So when we do this round at 10 cents in the dollar, when you're producing, you suddenly become like Sarabi Gold, which is half the size of us. That's now got a market cap 3 or 4 times our current valuation. So when you produce, your valuation goes up. You then list. Only 12 years ago, it cost 250 million to build. That was a long time ago. To replace it today is at least 500 million, and we're fully permitted. Everything's ready to go. I just want to thank also this man here, Richard Crew, who's been with me for 8 years. I call him Crocodile Dundee. He looks like Paul Hogan, doesn't he? He's stuck with us. And all of this wonderful team stuck with us. Loyalty here means a lot to us. And we're going to make this a tremendous success, Pilar Gold. It's just got so much potential, so much gold, so many mines ready to restart right away.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time today. Really appreciate it. And best of luck getting this asset back into production again.
Thank you so much, Stein. You guys are the best. And come to Brazil. Come and visit us at Pilar Gold in a beautiful state of Goiás. It's a wonderful part of Brazil.